Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. Having way too much fun before we go live with the one and only Mary Sawyer. Hey Mary, how's it going? I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Hi, I'm doing well. You look good as
Well,
always.
thank you so much. So do you. I had an event today, so I had to look like a moderator or look like I don't know what, MC maybe. But I love that. I was telling you before we went live, I love the topic. It's always me versus me. I think people miss that a lot. So I can't wait to take a deep dive. But before we do that, I told you that they love origin story. Everybody who comes on, they want to know a little bit about you. So give us a little bit of an insight into your journey to here.
Okay, so I met you probably like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years
Yes.
ago. So I was in the real estate market or real estate industry for quite some time. And now I switched back. Now I'm in underwriting. So I've been underwriting for about 2 years now.
God bless you.
Yeah. I still have my real estate license. I kept that. I'm not going anywhere with that thing yet. So, as far as where I got here with the whole COVID thing, life just kind of took a different route, and decided that I was not just going to stick around with real estate for a little while. It was not good for my health at that moment.
That's good.
So here I am. I work from home, and I sit at home all day, and I get to see my kids all day long and love my doggies. Um,
I love that. So but it's interesting to me because underwriting is, I mean, real estate isn't as glamorous as everyone
oh,
thinks.
I know.
However,
Underneath,
not everybody's driving a Maserati and they're not all getting out in their LV clothes. It's social media kind of paints an interesting picture of that.
it does.
But it is a little, to me, it's a little more glamorous than underwriting. So, what challenges have you found? Is the market crazy and people are trying to push things through, or is it getting any better, in your opinion, from an underwriting perspective?
Um, it was really crazy for a while when I started in 2020. It was, still like in the midst of the whole COVID being stuck at home thing. I It's slowed down a lot now. However, because I underwrite pretty much like all 50 states, there have been some really interesting things that I've seen in different states. So I've done a lot of Hawaii and a lot of California. And then you look at Florida and in North Carolina, and then in the middle of that would be like Ohio. And I'd see a home and I'm like, what? And then I see a home in California, and I'm asking myself, I'm going, seriously, this is how much this house is valued?
Was
Eh,
it lower than you expected or higher than you expected?
oh, it should be lower,
Should
in
be,
my
right?
opinion, based on my real estate, background. I look at it and I'm like, there's no way in hell that this house is worth this much. And when you see something like that, especially in Hawaii, because Hawaii housing market is so different than anywhere else in the world. And you see houses that you would never think like it would be like $2 million, but it is because of the lack of land that they have over there.
Yes, yes.
But you know what? If I can have a house in Hawaii, I would take it.
Oh my God, in a second. It's
In a
so
second.
beautiful over there. Tell me, do you miss like you did residential real estate? Do you
I
miss
did. Yeah.
the interaction with, because your interaction as an underwriter is usually with the loan originator or the title
Mostly
company. I mean, all
with
of
the
that stuff,
processor. Yeah,
but
that's it.
not the consumer. Do you miss
No.
do
Okay,
you
so
miss
that's one
do you
thing.
miss that?
I don't miss that part. I really don't. It's so needed a break from that part of it. Again, I've been through so much in the last 3 years, and having to you because you're almost like as a real estate agent, you're almost like a therapist to your
Therapist,
client.
counselor,
You know,
bartender, pastor.
whatever bartender. There you
Oh
go.
my God, it's the whole thing.
And I needed to get away from that because there was just so much I was going through that I couldn't carry on everybody else's burden at that time. And to me, that's the thing I don't miss the most right now. I do miss the colleagues. I miss the people I've worked with, everybody that I've met. I miss going to all the events. I still stay in touch with a lot of them. I actually just talked to one of my friends not too long ago. And I'm thinking about just kind of going back to like the whole networking thing and getting myself back out there again in case I want to do this. Because I really want to get back to real estate sometime again, but it won't be like it was before.
Well, I think it's hard when you our industry as a whole, events, it's a lot of networking. If you are in your house all day, even if you're talking to people, it's still not the same as interacting with people.
Oh my
And
God, I know.
as much as it's wonderful, I think, to be able to love on your dogs, your kids, your family, there's always, when you're a social person like you
Yeah.
are, there's always that thing where I'm like, God, I would like to talk to an adult about something other than, I don't know, underwriting or
Oh, I know.
dog poo poo or whatever kid issues you've got. And so I get it. I think there's something, especially somebody like you that's so social, that you kind of miss.
Yeah, I do. I really, really miss that part, the whole interaction with other people. And I need to just get back into that. I was telling somebody last night, I'm like, you know what? I'm out of the real estate industry right now, but I really want to go see some people because I miss my friends.
Well, just follow my
I'm,
social calendar and you can go to anything that I'm going to because
I will.
woo,
I'm gonna follow you around.
you should. It's some crazy stuff. But what's interesting about our market right now, I feel like, is it's shifting. It's still a seller's market. I'm not
It
going
is.
to, but because as on a lender side, I can see that the interest rates are creeping up and they're expected to go even higher. And so
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a shift of people who may or may not want to spend the money at that rate. So you're going to, I'm hoping and praying you're going to see a little bit of a lessening on the restrictions as far as how much inventory is there or not there.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I heard that we just had a meeting not too long ago that inventory is starting to be available more and more now, and I'm seeing that like in our town.
yes. I think it's important. And what I've been trying to tell my loan originators and when we're talking to realtors is I realize you haven't had to do an open house in a long time, but I need you to get ready because you're gonna be doing some of those things. You're not gonna have 75 offers and 55 of them are cash
Oh
above
yeah.
asking price. It's going to begin to shift. This isn't a bad thing. So anybody who's listening, this isn't a bad thing. It's just it's part of how the cycle goes. But I think it will be lovely to have more opportunity, especially for first time home buyers and
Hmm.
for people who don't have the cash to get into the market and get the
Yeah.
housing they want. All right, tell me about it's always me versus me. I love that because I think a lot of people think the opposite. They think it's me against the world. I'm competing with the world. So tell me why you chose that title and what's going on with that.
What being in my 40s now, all your life you've always thought like you're competing against your colleague
Yes.
or your best friend or whoever it is. So you're constantly comparing yourself, and with the whole social media, really constantly, it's in your face, and you're finding yourself going, why am I not as successful as that person? Why am I not doing that? I should be doing that. That's me right there. That should be me. But you're not there because that's not you. That's the other person's path. That's not your path. Your path is different. And when you're constantly comparing yourself to someone else's fortune, you're going to miss whatever it is that's supposed to be yours because you're always looking for something else that's really not meant for you. And with all the stuff that I've been going through for the last 3 years, and you saw me like I jumped out of an airplane.
I
Uh,
did.
yeah, I jumped out of
Woo!
an airplane. That was probably one of the biggest or most scary thing I've done.
I'm afraid and I never could do it. So kudos to you. That is a very brave thing for you to do.
And it was really a big experience as far as, because I've been through a lot of trauma and I have complex PTSD that I've had to deal with for many, many years, and just finally settled and accepted the fact that I really need to hone down on it and really take care of that part of myself, because it really gets in the way. This is what happens when you have a lot of mental blocks, a lot of emotional issues. And I think that's what really like kind of pushed me out of the real estate world, because there's just so much going on at one time, and there's only so much I can take. And then with all the emotions that people were giving me, because I tend to carry it, and I tend
You're
to
an empath. I get it.
yeah. I want to take care of everybody. I want to make sure everything, that they're happy. But that's the thing. I can't make someone else happy without filling my own cup. And this is when we start to realize we're like, it's always me. I've always have to make myself better. I've always have to love myself. I've always have to look up to me, not someone else. And that's what a lot of times is when people talk about like I'm not successful enough, or I can never reach that goal. I'm like, but what are you doing to get there? Are you basing it on somebody else's goal points? Or it's good that you're listening to all these books, or reading all these books to help you get there and have some sort of a guide, but that's it. It's a guide.
It's only a guide. And so I have a lot of comments on what you said. First of all, kudos to you for bringing up PTSD. I'm also a sufferer of that. And I think that it's not always tied to military. And I have a lot of friends who have PTSD that are military, but it can be a very debilitating condition, disorder. I'm not sure what they're calling it these days. They even call it PTS now, not even PTSD.
Oh,
So it is, it can be paralyzing. And so to be able to get out of that, yes, you have to it's got to be introspective. It can't be comparing. And what I want to say to you is that maybe not your life that you're comparing, but I want to tell you a secret. It's not really their life either. So when you
no.
see this ish, was what I call it, on social media, and somebody looks like, they're dripping in Gucci and diamonds and LV, and they're in a Maserati and all that good stuff. A lot of times that is literally a photo shoot. And I want you all to believe, if that's what you're going to buy into, I need you to understand that that is not always true.
No.
And the majority of the time it's not. So stop, like Mary said, stop comparing yourself. Stop making it about what you're seeing on social media, because I know those people, and that is not what they're driving, and that is not what they're dressing in. So I can tell you that a lot of it's fake.
And
So
you
if you're,
gotta think, a lot of times you can rent stuff now.
listen, you're absolutely right. So
You can rent.
if you are judging yourself based on something you're seeing on social media and wondering why you're not at that level of success, I'll just use real estate as an example. Message me. I'll let you know how much that person's actually making in real estate, because I can tell you it is a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle photo shoot, and there is a whole magic that goes on behind the scenes in these shoots, and it's not always real.
Hmm.
And so I want to encourage people. We talk about it on the show a lot. You cannot base it's me versus me, which is why I love this topic. It can't be about somebody else, because that somebody else, that may be a whole bunch of BS and smoke and mirrors, and
It is.
you can't be hard on yourself.
and and
Um,
and that's the thing. One thing that I've learned is, because I'm really hard on myself, and when you don't give yourself grace but you do with everybody else, you're always going to be stuck in that habit of constantly trying to put yourself down, and
yes.
no one's going to pick you up from that. That's, again, it's on you to pick yourself back up. You don't need to depend on somebody else, because all this time you have that power to do it. You can do it to other people. You can give them all that love. That means you have that within yourself as well. And we focus so much in trying to make others happy that when we do have that moment to where we really need to give that to ourselves, we feel selfish and guilty, because we are taught not to do that. It's
Yes.
being self-centered. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to take a step back. and take care of whatever it is. Like with me, I go to have facial once a month. Oh, that's my thing. Have a massage once a month.
As
I
you
love it.
should.
But there are moments to where I need to just take a step back in my day because I just have too much going on all at once. I mean, I'm a teacher and I underwrite loans and I'm a dog walker. So, I'm like, oh, this is just way too much. And I have to take a step back and say, okay, why am I rattled right now?
Right.
Why am I getting really anxious right now? And we forget to do that sometimes. We don't ask ourselves, okay, what am I feeling
Yep.
right now that's causing me all these things? And once you start realizing that some of these things that gives you the anxiety, it's really just a habit because of that's all you've done and you can't break away from it.
You're right.
And you've got to be able to break out of that habit that's constantly giving you the same result. What is that saying? Um, doing doing the same crazy thing over and over again.
Yeah, the definition of insanity is doing the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
And that's what it is. If you're constantly doing the same thing, seriously, are you really going to
I know so many people that is literally their MO, and I cannot get them to stop and realize that that's the problem. They think that continuing to do this, whatever it is, will change them or change the situation or the trajectory, and it just doesn't work that way. All right, Mary, I've got one last question for you before we head out. You don't know this question, but I've been
no?
asking people. No, it's all right. When I say the word hero, who's the first person that comes to mind for you?
It would be my kids.
Your kids. Tell me why.
They've just been there for me, like every step of the way that I've stumbled, they're always there.
Beautiful.
They're just really wonderful children. I mean, my kids range from the age of 16 to 27. There's
Oh,
four.
wow.
Yeah. So my oldest is 27-year-old. She's a
Wow.
27-year-old actress, and she's also got me into the whole acting thing. So I've been acting for like 3 years now.
Nice.
And probably one of the best things that I've done to get out of some of the habits that I've built up in the last 40 some years. And I would say she's probably one of the biggest hero when I would picture as, because she's just been there so many times and she's built me to who I am because she's helped me develop that person just by being her mom.
Beautiful. See, a testament to our kids. That's an unusual one, and I love it because I know it's authentic and real. All right, Mary, what's the best way for them to reach you? How can they find you?
Well, my Facebook was down for a while, but it's back now. So you can reach me on my Facebook account. My Instagram, I'm still fighting, trying to get that back. I don't know what happened to it. Um, Facebook is probably the best way.
And it's scrolling across the bottom, you all. Mary, you're a joy. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for coming on the show. Come back anytime. You can find
Appreciate
Mary at facebook.com/or # I am Mary Ann. Thank you so much for sharing. I really
you.
appreciate it. Very motivational. You got a lot of love on social media. You
Oh,
all don't compare yourself to
that's right.
somebody else. Listen to what Mary says. It's
You versus
me
you.
versus me or you versus you. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks, Mary.